Thank you, Michelle. So today, very in the days in the 12 days of Nisan, just before Pesach. Today is Gemini. My Gemini is about to be over. The sunset is in 20 minutes. And so we are in portion Vayikra. We started the book of Vayikra, which is the third book of the Torah. And we know as long as we're going farther in the books, we are coming out of the seed level of the Torah into the manifestation. So Bereshit is Keter, Shmot is Chokhmah, and Vayikra is Bina. And Bamidbar is Ein Ranpin, and Dvarim is Malchut. So this verse of Vayikra, we read verses 109 to 115. And all this verse speaks about work Hashem with simcha, with joy and happiness. And I chose that one today because we are about to embark our personal Pesach in 12 days. And I think it took me a while long to figure out what Pesach is all about. And just for us to have an appreciation of the light that will be revealed on that night of the Seder. So let's structure the basics, okay? Why does it call the night of the Seder, the night of the order?
Because we have 15 steps that are done in a particular sequence in a particular way. So it's a tool to be connected to the greatest light on that day, right?
Right.
Seder means order, right?
Order, exactly.
Yeah.
So we putting ourselves, our chaotic self, into the light force order, which is different. The 99% order is very different than the 1% seem to be chaos. And we want to bring all of that 99 understanding, manifestation, light force into our very dark 1%. So this is the secret of Leila Seder, that we have 15 steps that speaks about two types of connection with the Creator. Okay, one type is called Gadlut, and the other type called Katnut. Okay, and everything that we read in the Zohar today was to help us understand deeply what are we receiving in that night, what ability we are receiving at that night. Because when we speak about Katnut, what is Katnut and what is Gadlut? Okay, let's give examples. So Katnut means I do not experiencing in my 1%. It seems that in an illusionary way, I'm not experiencing the light force of the Creator right now. Let's say I'm going through a challenge. I have bad feelings. I am envy. I'm jealous. I'm swearing. I'm picky. I'm doing selfishness actions. We're doing selfishness actions because we don't really see the light force. in front of us. We don't see that. We see only ourselves. And those times cause the times of katnut. Katnut is smallness or unawareness. It's times when the light force is back to back with us. Okay? There are 4 levels of revelations of the light force. 4 levels. Okay? It's called back to back to front to back, and front to front. Okay? Those are the 4 levels. Okay? Back to back, it's so the light is so concealed and away, feels like, seems to be away from us that we don't really see the connections. It's really when we're starting to study Kabbalah, that's how we feel it. But then we go a long time. We are working on ourselves, on our negativity. We're changing a little bit. We're transforming. So we are back to front. Okay? Whereas the light force is still far from us, seems to be far from us, but we have more understanding and idea. Okay? Those 2 phases called katnut, that we are really into ourselves. That's one of the reasons we don't eat lentils on Pesach. Lentils in Hebrew means kitniot, which is the same as katnut. We don't want to connect with that type of energy on Pesach. And really, the entire Leila Seder is dealing with katnut and gadlut, those 2 aspects of our connection with the light force. So what happens to us in katnut, right? Let's say a challenge happened. Let me share something personal. Like, Nomi was fired from work last week. And she was coming after maternity leave, and the company is having some financial issues. And they were letting her go after 5 years. They really loved her, but they can't afford her. So I looked at it and I said, hey, amazing. It's a blessing. I instantly saw it's a blessing. But Naomi experienced it differently. She was sad. She didn't like it. She doesn't like to move, and she was sad about it. So it was a time of katnut, okay? And in those times of katnut, we need to actively choose to connect with the light force, because as we explained on all the previous classes in the past year and a half, in those times of katnut are the great times that we can establish a strong connection.
That's true. Because I just had some water out of the sink. It tastes good. It doesn't taste very good at all.
Can you mute them, please?
Pay attention in here.
Yo. Thank you.
Give me a heads up.
Please mute yourself, guys. So in those times of katnut, it's our times to really establish a strong connection to the life force. It's like a baluster, okay? When you are, a baluster, when you pulling it just before it launches, you invest so much power of really making it happen. And right before you release the knob, the stone is thrown up. So those times of katnut are the times that we can achieve. Thank you, Michelle. That we can achieve the highest connection. And the times of gadlut is the times when we feel the light force, when we have the consciousness, when we're excited, when we are happy, when we are connected. So what really happens? What really happens in Pesach? What do we receive in Pesach? In the Zohar explained that. Zohar explained, it says, in verse 112. And the priest and the Levite stands upon it, and with their connection, the work of Hashem is being completed. And the Kohen stands when the Zohar speaks about when a person will sin, so he bring a sacrifice to Hashem to reconnect. Okay, and that was the power of the Holy Temple. When you did something wrong, you could. When you do something wrong, you can bring a sacrifice to the Holy Temple and you can correct it. And you should be standing with a broken heart when you put the sacrifice. And the Kohanim and the Levites would sing and rejoice to connect the broken heart with the joy and the happiness. And that sacrifice is to unify the mercy and the judgment. That's the secret here. And everything is being perfumed because the Yudke Vavke is mercy and Elohim is judgment. And they're perfumed together as one. Now I'm going to send you to listen to Michael Berg's TLE lesson number 3. Okay? And Michael is explaining there was a righteous, I have his book. It's called the Epte Rebbe, the Ohev Israel. This righteous was from the lineage of Baal Shem Tov. And it says about him that he could never see something wrong. Let's say a person was sinning, like was doing something awful. He could not see wrong in that. He could only see the light force through it. And that's the level we need to reach, to be able to see the light force in all that darkness that happens to us, to our close ones, to the world, to our cities, to our countries, to our nations. So I'm looking at the hostages situation right now. They're locked. We still have 59 hostages locked in the cellars of Hamas.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, how come they're still locked? How come? They represent us as a nation. They represent all the negativity that we did not transform yet. They represent us going against each other. This is why they're locked. Not because of Hamas, not because of the government, not because of anything else. They're locked because of us. Because we have not transformed yet to the level that can allow them to come out. Look at everything that is locked in your life, in the cellars of your opponent. Now is the time to look into it, refill it, clean it up, get it ready. Get it ready. Because on the night of the Seder, Creator is going to clean it up for you. He's going to make you make your ability to unify your judgment and mercy and make it one for the entire year. So how does it look like? It looks exactly like what I told you. When something wrong seems to be wrong happening in your life, you're going to see only the light. You're not going to see the judgment. And when you see only the light and you focus only on the light, when something happens, it's going to be light. It's going to be shifted so fast. And you're not going to feel any pain and any suffering about it. In those times of katnut, you will be able to connect with the unified light force. And this is the work that we need to do. This is our work to do. That's the only reason we have challenges in life. So we can connect it. So we can elevate it. That's the meaning of elevation. When everything seems to be wrong and you are connected deeply with your desire, now, oh my God, such a blessing. I heard Eitan. You remember the Rav was doing the Kabbalah water in Chernobyl, right? And he was working with scientists, I think Eitan said, for a few years. The Rav was working with scientists from Europe to make it happen.
Oh, I unmuted you, Joseph. Sorry. I was trying to mute someone
And
else.
everything was so ready and everything was so prepared. And just in the last moment, the scientist says, we cannot do it. And the Rav said, oh my God, what a blessing. The Rav was so happy about it. He was investing years. And they said they couldn't do it. The Rav looked at it and says, oh my God, it's such a blessing. That's the level we want to achieve. That's the level. In our personal life, in the people around us, with the students we're tutoring in Kabbalah 1, 2, 3. That's what we need to do. This is what the night of the Seder is going to do for you.
Wow.
When you fix those katnuyot, you fix it with the plate and all the 15 steps of katnut, gadlut, katnut, gadlut, katnut, gadlut. Read the meditations. You're going to see. Now it's the time of katnut. Meditate. Okay, now I'm now connecting that time of my katnut for the next year, that I will be fully connected with the endless light in the times that I have the midst of the challenge. So I can be rejoiced and happy about it and excited of the huge blessing the Creator is just giving me with that challenge. That's what the Seder is doing.
Wow.
Because when you do that, what's the Zohar says when you do that?
Gladness, right?
Yeah. When you do that, it says in 115, it says this. Vezeu tikkun adam, and that's the correction of the person that need to be corrected before of his master. To merit that.
Wow.
And when he merit that everyone sees the Uki Hashem hu Elokim, know that Yudke Vavke is Elokim. It's all one. It's the unifications. That's the unification between Yudke Vavke and Elokim. And everything comes to that one unified consciousness, unified universe. And this is the meditation that we do when something like that happens, of connection between the level of judgment and the level of mercy. To be connected, because it's a one, it's a unified universe. And if God forbid we look at it and say there is no God there, we're not fulfilling our purpose.
Sounds like we cannot even complain this year. If we complain, we're off. We're not connected.
Yeah.
Back to back again.
Yeah.
Wow.
When you complain about something, it's like you don't see it's the Creator. You don't see it's the light force. It's giving you a challenge to overcome. And then it finishes. Ashrei chelkam shel hatzadikim. What are the part of those righteous who is dealing with the Torah and knows the ways of the Creator? That's the way of the Creator. This is the path we need to follow. That's what we're receiving on Pesach. This ability. It's an ability. It's a gifted ability that's been given to us on Leila Seder.
It reminds me of that Psalms that says, and there will be no complaining in the streets. Like that is huge. No complaining in the streets. That's part of all this. I didn't even think about that.
When we do that, guys, when we do that, nothing can stop us. We can achieve everything. All the blessings we ever thought about ourselves are going to chase us, run after us. Because that's the work of elevation. Like we spoke about sustenance. That's the work of elevation we need to do. That everything, all the sparks going to run to us. Please elevate. I want to be part of you, of the work that you're doing. And nothing will be missing. Nothing. Questions, guys?
Does this mean then that things that are inconveniencing, we feel lack of achievement, and that means those experiences are corrections for us to feel our transgressions are cleaned away?
I think I understand. I think. So when a challenge happens to us, it's the way we can correct this Elohim, this judgment, this time that we really don't experience the light force, into a realm that we are. And we do that with our consciousness. And we receive that gift on Pesach, on the night of the Seder. To be able to have the ability to do that. More questions, guys.
Sir, as an example, in my situation, I had an accident going to the center to get some Pinker's books. And the ambulance came and took me to the hospital. And I told, I can't afford to do that. I'm no pain. Let me go home. They said, no, you have to go to the hospital. And after I went to the hospital the next day, and they kept me overnight, and then I told somebody what happened to me, and they said, oh, I feel so sad for you. I said, no, this happened to me
I'm not sad.
because of something I've done in the past. And therefore, that means I've been forgiven. That's the way I took it. That's what it is. That's what you're telling.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing.
Yosef,
yes, Joe.
Yeah. So what I got from the Zohar when we were first reading it, the question that I was asking is, how do we live in both worlds? How do we live in two worlds at the same time? And I hear you giving it the name Gadlut and Katlut, those two worlds. Now you're using those particular names to describe it. And yes. So we get to a place where we use the Katnut to elevate to Gadlut. Am I hearing it right? By seeing in the physical world,
it
things
goes
happen,
up and down all the time.
But you can even go to the next level, which is to embrace the Katnut, so that you see the elevation, to use it as a tool to bring you into the elevation of Gadlut. They're so close to each other that one can go to the other like that, depending upon your consciousness. And there's more, but I'm trying to think back at what the Zohar was the question the Zohar was asking. So what I've experienced so many times is going to the Kabbalah Center, right? That's instant gadlut. No matter how much gadlut I'm bringing into the Kabbalah Center when I walk through that door, when I'm there, of course, gadlut is visiting me all the time in my mind, but still, and when we talked about the singing and the bitterness at the same time, to be in gadlut, experiencing your own failings, using that to see the dirt within yourself, but yet going to a place where the singing can elevate you and being part of that at the same time. I think that's what this is talking about, right? Being in both worlds at the same time and using one to experience the other. Am I saying it's right?
Yeah, it's all one. It's all one consciousness. It's all one unified creator. It's no difference. It's just a different phases that we experience. And when we're experiencing the times that we're happy and excited and filled with light and filled with joy, and we're singing, we're in the center on Shabbat or dinner,
right,
or lunch or Michael, or the camaraderie of people or together and happiness and joy. This is the times of Gadlut. And when we go, we are with ourselves and we're doing something wrong, and a challenge comes along, and we feel like everything is closing on us and we don't find a way out. Those are the times of Katnut. And the idea is to find a path, to find a way to see the greatness of the light force in those times of Katnut. Right. The ability to transform our situation in our mindset, only in our consciousness, that reality will follow. In our mindset, in our consciousness, to see, okay, this is not bad. This is good. He was fired, but this is good. I'm losing a business, but this is good. I'm sick now, but this is good. This is good. This is for a better place. And connect with it and the ability to see through the darkness.
Right.
To see through these times of Katnut, to be able to draw, to hold the power of the endless creator in those times that it seems to be so dark. It seems to be so empty. Seems to be so misfortune. In those times, when we fix our consciousness in Leil HaSeder, in those times that are going to come in the next 12 months after, it will be a success. We will have the ability to do that. That's the secret of Leil HaSeder. One of them. There are many secrets. This is one of them. This is what we're fixing when we do those connections.
That's like you lost your business at a high point, making much money. But later on in life now, you're with us, teaching us the right consciousness we could have to overcome the damage done as a blessing in the future. Sometimes a better, way better. You're happier now, you say, because now you are where you are because you did lose that business. And now
if I wasn't losing that business 7 years ago, I could never reach the point that I am right now. Never. I was stuck there in that limited reality. I shared that before. You're right.
It's like the
More questions, guys. More questions, guys. One last one.
Yeah, it's like to change that night, to have the power to change the haroset, the most bitter herbs, to change your consciousness and change it for sweet. You have the certainty. The certainty
Mhm, that's exactly it.
it's
Exactly.
simply for sweet in enjoying it and enjoy it and it's just for them to be it becomes so sweet like honey, even harvest. That's
Right.
that's the experience I have, and then they become Kadisha Atika after we finish Galut and Gadut.
Amazing.
Exactly. Thank you, Jacqueline.
Okay.
Okay, guys, thank you so much for today.
Can I say just
Um,
one last
Thank
idea?
you.
Sometimes I think that we, as a student, should have um, a friend where we can talk, or a teacher. And sometimes we are close in our own problems, and somebody to tell you, look the light in that. But we have to express it. We have to share our negativity, I would say, or to somebody to tell you.
we have the group, guys. You can do it in the group.
Yes,
We're there for you. You can do it in our WhatsApp group, guys.
yes.
Don't afraid to share.
Yeah.
When you're exposing your opponent, everything looks much better. You have
Yeah,
the ability to control it.
that's the main idea. Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Amen.
Thank you.
Yosef.
Thank you.